What you are about to hear today will send shivers down your spine. 3 stories of caving that turned into absolute horror. Stories where every decision becomes a matter of life and death, where darkness becomes your worst enemy, and where the earth itself turns into a deadly trap.
Imagine yourself alone, miles underground, without light, without landmark, without hope.
That's exactly what happened to these 3 people. Stay tuned until the end, because the last story defies all logic and reveals phenomena that even experts can't explain. Our first victim is Mark Dubois, a 42-year-old underground exploration enthusiast. In March 1994, he decided to explore the Black Caves of Colorado alone, an underground labyrinth he knew like the back of his hand. It was a fatal mistake. That day, Mark was carrying only a headlamp and trusting his instincts. After all, he had already explored these tunnels a dozen times. But this time, something urged him to take a side passage, a route he had never explored before. A curiosity that would cost him his life. After an hour of progressing through this unknown gallery, Mark realized he was completely lost. The walls close in around him, the passages all look the same, and his lamp begins to dim. Anxiety rises. He tries to retrace his steps, but it's impossible. Every tunnel leads to another tunnel, every choice seems wrong. Then disaster strikes. His lamp suddenly goes out, plunging him into total darkness.
A darkness so thick you could touch it. Feel it seeping into your lung.
Mark frantically searches his pockets and finds a box of matches. His only hope. One by one, he lights the matches, desperately trying to memorize the way in those few seconds of flickering light. Each flame that goes out takes a little more hope with it. Soon, there are none left. Mark is alone in total darkness, miles below the surface, with no one knowing where he is. In his panic, he continues to crawl forward, leaving behind his personal belongings like breadcrumbs. His shoes, pieces of clothing, anything that could serve as a landmark. But the worst is yet to come. Weakened by hours of wandering, thirsty and hungry, Mark discovers a crack in the rock. A narrow opening barely a meter wide that seems to descend into the depths. In his state of distress, this crevice appears to him as a possible way out. He slips inside. This is where his fate is sealed. No sooner have his hips passed through the narrowest part than he realizes his fatal mistake. The rock walls close in on him like a vice. The more he moves, the deeper he sinks. The more he panics, the more the rock crushes him. Mark is now a prisoner of the earth, stuck in an excruciating position that will become his tomb. His cries echo in the void, but no one can hear him. His family reports him missing after 2 days. Rescue teams search all the caves in the area for weeks, but find no trace of Mark. How could they guess that he was lying in a secret passage, stuck in a crack that no one knew about? 18 months later, a team of speleologists finally discovered his body during a mapping mission. They followed the trail of abandoned objects, like a macabre treasure hunt, to the cursed crevice. Mark had fought to the end, his fingernails scratching the rock until they bled. The cave had kept its secret for over a year. But wait, because our second story will make your blood run cold. How could anyone imagine that a 15-year-old teenager could get stuck in a crack 20 centimeters wide? July 2003. Kevin and Lucas Martinez, 2 inseparable 15-year-old brothers, set off to explore Devil's Cave in Arkansas. These 2 budding adventurers had grown up exploring every corner of their region. This cave, renowned for its narrow passages and natural traps, represented the ultimate challenge for them. The entrance to the cave opens like a gaping mouth in the hillside, spewing out icy air that sends shivers down your spine. But the 2 brothers don't hesitate for a second. Their headlamps pierce the darkness and reveal spectacular rock formations. It's beautiful, magical, and dangerously deceptive. After an hour of progress, they discover a crack on their right. 20 centimeters wide, 6 meters high, 4 meters deep. Lucas hesitates, suggesting they turn back, but Kevin is already slipping inside. He has always been the more reckless of the 2, the one who constantly pushes the limits.
Kevin squeezes into the rocky crevice, contorting his body to move forward.
The walls crush his ribs, but he continues, fascinated by this miniature gallery. Suddenly, his foot slips on a wet rock slab. His left leg plunges into a hole and instantly gets stuck between 2 blocks of stone. The pain is excruciating. Kevin screams, but his voice is lost in the twists and turns of the cave. His right leg, which was trying to hold him up, slips, putting him in an impossible position. He finds himself suspended, torn apart, his trapped leg supporting his entire weight. Every movement amplifies his suffering. Lucas hears his brother's cries and rushes toward the crack. But it is too narrow for him to climb down and help him. All he can see is the top of Kevin's head, 6 meters below him. Panicked, Lucas runs for help. At 5:30 p.m., Lucas arrives at the park's visitor center, panting, sweating, his eyes red from crying.
Rangers Mark Wilson et David Chen donnent hésitate fort à second.
They gather their rescue equipment and follow Lucas to the cursed cave. When they arrive, they realize the extent of the problem. Kevin is stuck so deep that they can barely see him. His voice reaches them, weak and trembling with pain. The passage is too narrow for an adult to climb down. They have to improvise a pulley system with the straps they brought with them. First attempt, they lower a strap, which Kevin manages to wrap around his waist. But when they pull, the pressure on his trapped leg becomes unbearable. Kevin screams in pain and begs them to stop. The plan isn't working. Wilson calls for backup. At 7:50 p.m., a full cave rescue team arrives on the scene. They have only one option: hoist Kevin vertically, millimeter by millimeter, hoping that his leg will free itself before the damage becomes irreversible. They make a makeshift harness and position Wilson directly above the crack. Every centimeter gained is torture for Kevin, but it's his only chance of survival. For nearly an hour, they pull, release, and adjust in a meticulous ballet where every movement counts. Finally, at 8:20 p.m., a sinister crack echoes through the crevice.
Kevin S. foot is free.
The team quickly pulls him to the surface. He emerges from the crack like a newborn, bruised but alive. His legs are swollen, his muscles paralyzed, but miraculously, there are no serious fractures.